Hey La, I'm hoping today that when I say this should be a quick video, it actually will be. I know I say that all the time. But today's video is about energy and energy retention and energy healing and regeneration and the way that we sometimes have a million peaks and valleys just in general in life, but especially over the holidays. And right now I have, wow, I think there's something like a holiday hangover that I have traditionally had depending on the situations, because it has varied wildly throughout my life. But after the holidays, I always feel affected. And throughout the course of my life and my discovery of my neurodivergent brain, part of my journey, and a huge one that remains in the forefront in ever evolving ways, is giving myself permission to heal. I know that sometimes it doesn't seem appealing to put yourself out there, even to yourself, in your own head, or when you look in the mirror, or whatever is happening that makes you think about yourself and where you are. It's not always appealing. It hasn't always been made to seem appealing or safe to say, I am really affected by this. It's been a few days. The majority of it is done. Everybody else seems to be going on with life and digging into their routines or whatever it is, but I feel tired, or I feel affected. It might not even necessarily be tired. It might just be some oddness where you feel weirdly stimulated. And like the famous overstimulated, understimulated thing, that often has been a part of it for me. But the holidays, man, even if you've got your routine going, like me, the ADHD thing, where I have a constant dichotomy of, I do have a routine for that. And what routine? I forgot that was even a word. Wait, remind me what that means? So I kind of have a certain level of order and then chaos that naturally work together every single day of my life. When it comes down to something like the holidays where, when it comes down to something like the holidays where it throws a whole bunch of new unexpected things in, I don't want to get into it, but during the holidays, for a lot of us, our regular lives do not stop. Whatever we're dealing with did not go away. But what is suddenly added is all of this extra stuff. Prep work and mental prep work, physical prep work, emotional prep work, financial prep work. You might be running into family you wish you'd never even seen in the first place. You might just be tired out from spending time with people you really, really want to spend time with, but it does take some energy. There's a constant energy exchange to everything. A lot of people suddenly have to deal with potential financial things. You might be going on a destination holiday thing to see family somewhere else. Maybe you're going on a trip as a family. Maybe you are going out. This could be like you're born into it family. It could be your chosen family, like a destiny family, people that you met, whatever kind of family it is. You might end up going with them someplace, doing some kind of vacation thing. They might end up coming to you. There's a heck of a lot of prep work to hosting. But I find, as a neurodivergent brain, there's a lot of prep work to being hosted. I actually find that to be weirdly exhausting in a completely different way. Maybe I'll talk about that later. I'm trying to stay on track with this, but it's all connected. Whether you're going someplace or whether you are having people coming where you are, or you're all going en masse, there might be travel expenses, there might be gifting expenses. I've known people who have their birthdays during the holidays. So not only is everyday life happening for them, if you have something like a birthday that's significant to you, or an anniversary or something like that, everyday life plus extra holiday stuff and birthday prep and celebration and things like that, man, the list just goes on. A lot of the things that are happening over the holiday season are profoundly intense things that could potentially be very triggering for some people, like the family thing or a travel thing, you know, the known, the unknown, preparation, finances. Some people feel like they want to stunt, they have to stunt, they're expected to stunt. Some people don't want to, and they're not concerned with people judging them for not stunting. But they're going to not stunt because that's who they are. and then they're going to deal with whatever the reaction is. It could be anything. For some reason, it just seems like it's another energy expenditure to involve money in any way. And the holidays very often involve that to some degree, especially if you do some of the big grand traditions people like to do, you know, gifting and wrapping and cooking meals. Cooking, that's an energy expenditure. Having a menu, making all these different things, adding things because you have more people coming over and they want different things, or trying to tweak things, especially if you have different dietary, you know, restrictions and stuff. I don't want to go into an exhaustive list. I'm saying a lot of the things that happen during the holiday are stressful when they're happening within the context of one day during the year. To have them all mushed into a big ball, like a snowball, a snowflake here, a snowflake there, a snowflake everywhere, and the next thing you know, they're all mushed into a ball and they're thrown right at you. Maybe that thing hits you in the face every year and you're like, yeah, I should have seen that coming. Or maybe you're like, I saw it coming and I still couldn't get out of the way. Or maybe you did dodge the snowball, but you're just annoyed that someone threw it anyway. You've had a snowball hit you too many times and it's annoying. The snowball of the holidays. And I find it particularly interesting to go through all of this because the entire time I'm dealing with it, even when there are other neurodivergent people around, very importantly, they have very different reactions to the energy fluctuations. Some people, some of them love the things that I hate, and they seem to really enjoy the stuff that drains me. It's so complex. So getting so many people together and doing so many things with so many of them, you know? It's always going to be complex no matter what, no matter how good or how bad, no matter how rewarding or how re-traumatizing. It's an energy thing. And you can end up in a weird place just feeling like you need to be quiet, put on something cozy, go sit or lie wherever it is that you feel most comfortable, close your eyes and possibly just meditate, or a form of something. I would call it meditation, where you just close your eyes and block everything out. You don't have to do anything. You're not trying to think or plan or learn anything. You're not even intentionally ruminating on anything. You're just going into rest mode, and whatever comes will come. And sometimes we need to do this a lot. Sometimes I found that sometimes I need to change my diet or my hydration type or schedule, you know, what I'm consuming. Sometimes I need to change how and when I sleep. Sometimes it changes itself, okay? And a lot of us, I'm in a female body. And throughout the course of my life, especially as I grow what some people might call older, I've got to come up with a better word than that. I tend to say to myself, I'm growing more and more fabulous. Especially as I grow more and more fabulous, I find I have the most interesting experiences with my energy. And I can't fully explain why they're happening, but sometimes they're crazy and I find myself even more drained than I thought I was going to be. Or I have all this kinetic energy that seems very, very unsettling, right? Sometimes your biology plays in there and you're having an experience that's just adding to the madness of everything else that's going on. And I just want to be here to say, as someone who knows what it's like to feel like it's not okay to admit it, or to talk about it, or to broadcast it, so to speak, you know, to where you take care of yourself in such a way that other people find out about it, that you literally say no because you know that you need to rest instead of doing another thing. It's not really broadcasting, but sometimes, yeah, you put it out there in a lateral way that you're resting. And sometimes it doesn't feel comfortable to share that much information. And I want to say that it doesn't matter if you have to share it or not. There are so many people out here in the neurodivergent community who understand how you are feeling. If your energy is in a weird place, if you're feeling what I think I'm calling a holiday hangover, where all of this onslaught of stuff has happened and it's going over the course of a long time frame. We've got weeks or months, whatever is going on, and it's just unsettling. Especially, I'm the ADHDer, as autists, when whatever our routine is shifted in an unexpected or disconcerting way, I think it's pretty famous that sometimes we react strongly to that, or it seems like we're reacting strongly. When you know what we're feeling, you can tell that the reaction is actually proportional. We tend to react proportionally, but it looks like we're reacting strongly, and it feels like a strong reaction when you're feeling it. And that could be if something is just off for an instance on a day. Like you need something. I've had the experience where I need something and it's just gone. I was planning to utilize or consume something, and boom, somebody else already took it. They already took it. They already moved it. It's just where I can't find it. I know, for instance, I had a whole moment when I knew for 100% certain that my particular cleanser that I needed for something was in a very full bottle, usually undisturbed, except by me. And in this one occasion, I was under a certain amount of stress, and when I looked where I knew that cleanser should be, I opened a cabinet door, and it wasn't there, and everything else just fell apart. It was the final straw, the straw that broke the camel's back. I was dealing, and I was holding it together, and then that cleanser was gone. It was just this one particular thing that day. I was barely keeping it together, and that thing was gone. I didn't see it anywhere else. And the instant I saw it, something started to, a cascade effect started to happen. It was like the story about the little boy with his finger in the dam. The bottle being gone was somebody pulled his thumb right out. And everything else just started to happen as an effect. Sometimes that one thing in that one day is enough to throw you off of your game. And over the holiday season, sometimes you experience stuff like that over and over again, sometimes every day, sometimes unpredictably over many days or many weeks. You could be fine and thinking, okay, I guess it's fine now. And then another thing like that missing cleanser bottle or the missing cleanser, whatever. It was just, it was exactly what it took to push me to a place where I needed to do some immediate self-care. And I did everything I needed to do to kind of halt my morning preparations for that day and get to where I could nest down and rest, because it was too much. Because that was the thing. That was the one piece of straw that was too much. And over the holidays, there's so much straw that you might be going through that extra too much piece every day, or almost every day. Or it might just be that it's random and it's happening at all. It could be happening multiple times, and it's very often, for a lot, like my experience, it's over the course of months. And sometimes it's very persistent, so you are pushed over the edge sometimes for many hours, and for whatever reason you can't really escape the situation. I just want to be there to openly, what's the word? I've just lost all of my words. My mind just went blank. No, not right now. Hold on. Let me breathe. I just want to be there to openly advocate as somebody who has this experience and knows now a great many other people who have these experiences. You are not alone. You are not imagining it. It is a perfectly healthy thing, especially for our neurodivergent brains, to process things in a neurodivergent way and not a neurotypical one, which means that when you react, even inside of yourself, and it seems like you're reacting very strongly, I want to reiterate, it's very usually based on what we are experiencing and how our brains are processing it. Our brains process more information at any given time. You can look that up in case you're not aware. We get more input. So when it looks like we're responding in a stronger way, it's because we are experiencing a stronger influx of stimuli. And the holidays turn that up, because now it's so many extra levels of so many different types of stimuli. I want you to know it's not unhealthy to respond proportionally, to feel it proportionally, okay? If everything is safe, if you're safe, if everyone is safe, it's not unhealthy to feel it in a way that doesn't look like what some people call normal. It's normal for your brain It's normal for our brains. And like I said, even amongst us, it varies like crazy. It's like some kind of probability storm. And I think of it this way because I just keep thinking, for me, I have the experience of kind of feeling like I'm hanging even when it's a good moment. I don't know what's going to come next. It's a lot of input. I want you to know, in case you are not aware of another neurodivergent person, in case you are with neurodivergent people who are clearly in D and you can tell, but they won't or can't admit it, maybe that's not a safe place. Maybe it's not a safe subject for them. And so you feel alone. There are others, and we feel various ways, but we get the concept because we're having such a deeply, inextricably linked experience that we have a tendency to know, even if we're not consciously aware of it yet, we have a tendency to know and have experienced such similar types of things. You are not alone. And if you are sitting here and it seems like everybody else is up and they're planning for the next year and they're fully bulldozing into it, and the past is the past, and they had a ball and they went to every party and did every celebration and ate every meal, and they saw the ball drop on New Year's Eve, and then they wake up the next morning and it's like they're just okay. Maybe they're a little tired or sleepy or something, different type of holiday hangover, but maybe they're just chill. Maybe you know people who are like that, or maybe they're not okay, but again, they just don't want to admit it, or they don't think it's a big deal. Some of us kind of need to admit what's going on because that's a part of healthy healing. It's a part of healthy, holistic self-maintenance. And some people are not in that place, but some of us very much are. And for those of us, I want to say one more time, resoundingly, you are really not alone. You're not the only one. Even if you don't personally know other people who can relate to you on this subject, or you don't know them yet, here's one right here. And I've had the life-changing experience of finding out how many there are out there, and it's incredible. This is normal for us. So if you need to rest, if you're still feeling overwhelmed, or you're feeling underwhelmed, if you're just any type of uncomfortable type of whelmed, you are not alone. I'm experiencing this right now. This is not the video that I wanted to put out today, but I think it's extremely important because I've been standing here thinking I need to talk about this for a long time, but I could not do that to myself because in order to take care of myself safely over all of the holiday things, I had to not work on putting out the videos I wanted to put out. So I'm now here recording something I didn't intend to say. And I didn't intend to say now because I think it's still relevant. And actually, I'm coming to think now it's probably very important to put it out this far after everyone else is kind of done with the holidays. Because the entire point is sometimes our reaction, it doesn't look proportional, even if it is. And sometimes it doesn't look timely, even if, once again, for us, it is. It's very normal for us. And so, yeah, whenever I get this out, whenever I either edit it or just hopefully put it up in one piece, and there'll be editing. I do have an intro and an outro video. I'm always like, I won't edit it. I'm so excited. It's going to be so quick. I edit it every time. That's how I get the intro and outro video to be a part of it. But it's much less editing and it feels so much better and so much more cohesive. So whenever I have the energy to do that, I think maybe it's very important that it comes out this far after the active holiday hullabaloo. And I just thought that in this moment because I've been saying to myself, no, it's too late. No, it's taking too long. I need to put it out now. I need to put it out at the tip top of the Christmas season. I mean, who knows who's going to watch it? But in all reality, we don't necessarily know that anyway. Some of us, we just do what we do and we believe we're doing it for a purpose. And we pray that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, but who knows who's going to see it. But I do hope that if anyone does see this now, you're someone who just needs... I don't want to say that. I want to say if there's someone watching this who needs some kind of understanding, I'm doing this to give that to you. And I'm doing this to tell you that I'm not the only one who has that capacity. And I'm not the only one who understands, even again, if we're not conscious of it yet. It's in there. We're having these experiences. And as sort of this globally dispersed, neurodivergent nation of people who work in a certain way, as varied and wonderfully, beautifully different as we are in so many ways, we work in a certain way because our brains work in a certain way. We are out here processing it all, just dealing, whether it's a week later or it's smack dab in the middle of it. A lot of us are feeling a lot of things. And some of us, okay, I do have to say this. I was raised in this tradition where the holidays, I might end up talking about this because it has something to do with what I wanted to talk about, but there's been a tradition with holidays where the females put in all this work, and I was the female. So my experience of it is a whole nother level of how stressful it can be, and a lot of people aren't having that. One time someone and I'm going to say, I don't know how to say this because I don't even want to put the energy out there of kind of somebody very innocently, just because they hadn't gotten to that place where they thought about it yet, right? It's an open person. They learned in the conversation. They just hadn't had the thought yet, and they were male. So they weren't put upon to do all the different things. And I made a remark. I might have mentioned this in another video, but who's to say? I'm saying it again. I just want to say, it was fine. It wasn't an upstart moment. There was nothing judgmental on this person's part, right? But this is a male person, and I was talking about the incredible stress of the holidays, and they said something like, aren't the holidays supposed to be really relaxing and peaceful? And I was like, some part of me almost went speechless, and that almost never happens. I just didn't know how to respond. I became deeply inflamed inside of my heart. I had to pray and calm myself down. It's not his fault. This person did not put decades of holiday stress on me and then act like it's not a thing. He just doesn't know. I said something back about how it depends on your experience. And I had grown up with the thing where, as a female, everything in the whole world was on me to get done, right? So for me, it wasn't relaxing. For me, it was non-stop work. And it wasn't even my own chosen work. It was doing what somebody else's traditions were teaching me. Multiple traditions. But I said that. He had the thoughts like, okay, I hadn't thought of it that way before. Everything was fine. I just don't want anybody to get upset like, oh my gosh, I know. Every guy I know says, they're all like that. I'm not trying to say that. Everyone's an individual. And this person was not that cliche. But it is very different for some of us for various reasons. And for me, it was different and more stressful because of that tradition I was raised in where the girls do everything, right? Other people aren't even asked, but definitely us. So I have that. And that tradition has lived on because it's still that kind of society and background with a lot of the same people. So when I talk about the stress, I realize it's not always going to be the same for everyone. But I'm going to tell you from what I have seen and experienced in life and my studies, and that's my thing, human experience, everything that has to do with it. The holidays can even be weirdly, distractingly complex for the people who are just invited to turn up and do nothing but enjoy everything, because there's so many other factors that get involved. And did I say this already? I can't remember. I had to re-record this video, but all the other factors that go in, like the prepping, the potential cooking, being invited could even be a financial strain. I think I did mention that, but there are a lot of things, and they're all piled on top of us, and they're piled on top of us at a time of the year where, in my experience, and a lot of places, the earth is saying it's time to rest. It's going into dormancy, and we're now supposed to turn up and do the exact reverse instead of having things packed away and utilizing our resources throughout the winter in somewhat of a gingerly way or a judicious way. Now all of these traditions have been instituted where you kind of go into using what you have to create a feast. That's fantastic. To create a feast. I'm trying to say a feast. You're using what you have to create a feast. You know, we might not all be living in a modern time frame where we're actually stockpiling things and preparing for winter, but some people very much are. And I don't know, some part of me thinks, personally, this is me, it doesn't suit me well to be in a time of the year when everything says go to sleep, right? Everything says go to sleep, hibernate, take a rest. Do not overly expend what you have, yet the holidays come along, and energy-wise and often monetarily, everything is about making a bigger feast, making a bigger presentation, giving a bunch of gifts and wrapping them up in a bunch of wrapping, and it's just about much, 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 and more, more, more. And that's not even mentioning the much, 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 and more, more, more of interpersonal interactions that all of this stuff is generally, to some degree, all about anyway. I don't know. It's just a weird experience for me. There's a lot to think about, and I think I've basically said what I need to say. But I think I forgot to say, always, if you're safe, if people are safe, please take care of yourself. I'm asking with a pure heart, in case you need any kind of permission from any other human being, because sometimes it helps us to hear it, and it feels like something inside of us. You hear somebody else say this, and something inside of us says, okay, now I feel like I can give myself permission to rest and heal. Please, safely, take care of your indie brain and your indie needs. Take the rest. Make the mug of tea and breathe some air. Get some sun on your face. Whatever it is that's the safe thing for you. Sleep, curl up, and just let your thoughts and everything else wash over you, but don't interact because you're just resting and you're in dormancy state. Whatever it is, sometimes we just need that. Sometimes we need that throughout the day. Sometimes I have needed it multiple times throughout the day. And in the holiday hangover time frame, sometimes I feel like that's the only thing I do need in any given day. So thanks for watching, and once again, please do take care of yourselves. We need to all do that. This world is kind of an intense place for any kind of living thing. I mean flora and fauna. And we are very much living things. And the world did not stop for us. It didn't stop being the world for us. And we're trying not to stop for the world, right? Okay, so thanks for listening. Please like, share, subscribe, tick the bell for notifications, and that's about it. Bye now.